this match started in 3, 2, 1, go! Once again, all 4 of our robots are off. Cosmic Loop grabbing a sample from the preload line to score into that high basket. Laser Robotics doing some crazy moves to make some specimens that they're going to go and score on the high rung. Meanwhile, Brookline TNT, they're trying to score some samples, but they're not quite in the right place. Looks like their auto positioning is a little bit off. They do have a sample stuck in their robot, which I'm guessing in teleop they're going to be trying to get out of there.
Drivers,
a final park from Cosmic
3,
Loop,
2,
as their alliance
1.
partners are also parked in the observation zone. Immediately into teleop. Laser looks to eject. Looks like they maybe had 2 specimens briefly in their robot. Looks like Cosmic Loop having some issues getting their teleop running. Laser Robotics immediately going over, taking that sample that their alliance partner had dropped, scoring that in the high basket. Parity Bits scoring a sample onto the high rung very cleanly, going back to push another one of those alliance-specific blue samples in that their human player can then turn into a specimen. They're scoring another specimen right now. Laser Robotics just putting sample after sample in that high basket. Their alliance partners, Brookline TNT, look to be dealing with a couple of programming issues on their robot. Cosmic Loop looks to be trying to get something unjammed from their slides. Meanwhile, Parity Bits has continually been scoring more and more blue specimens, but can it outpace this very high rate of sample scoring that we're seeing from Laser Robotics? Again, this is one of the major strategy elements of this game, specimens versus samples. Laser Robotics using a little mechanism, they have to push samples out of the way as their intake extends into that zone. Going into the end game. Laser Robotics now swapping to score a couple of those specimens that they haven't yet scored. Looks like their slides positioning is slightly off, but they get it in the end. With 12 seconds on the clock, they're going for another. Will they have time for a climb? Looks like they might. Very confidently going for that first zone climb, maybe a second zone climb. Can't quite tell. And that's the match. All right, and let's see the scores from match 5. That's a Blue Alliance victory with a score of 191 to 164.
Table is ready and the FTA is ready. With that, let's kick off qualification number 10 in 3, 2, 1, go. 60-55 and 23-286 immediately scoring into their higher rung, doing very good scores on both sides now. Meanwhile, 7-2-4-5 scoring into the higher bucket with now 4 up there. Very impressive stuff we're seeing. Would you check out those scores with several on the higher rung for both alliances?
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
That's a lot of specimens that got scored during the autonomous period as we jump into teleoperated period with Blue already at a score of 167. Very impressive stuff from their autonomous. Can they keep it up in teleoperated? Let's find out. It looks like they are so far as they continue to score, continuing to boast that high score. 6055 continuing to score specimen into their higher rung. Meanwhile, 6032 scoring into their higher bucket. Two 286 continuing to collect samples and pass it off to their human player to convert them into specimen. Looks like they might be having some technical difficulties as they're accidentally throwing them out of the field and not to their human player. 7245 though, helping them out, continuing to boast that scores. They passed the 200 level mark here. 2-3-2-8-6, changing their strategy, now putting it into the bucket with their teammate. Looks like the Blue Alliance's upper bucket is getting close to being full. Will they fill it by the end of this match? They're already at a score of 231. Very impressive stuff here. Meanwhile, 6-0-3-2 is not letting them get too far ahead as they continue to score into their upper bucket. With that, we're at 30 seconds left in this match. Blue Alliance just passing 267 here. Red Alliance at 130 right now, and several robots looking to climb here, specifically 6055 working to climb up on the higher rung, while 23286 sit on the bottom. 7245 attempting to climb in. Looks like they do so successfully as we round off this match. Those scores from qualification number 10. It'll be a Blue Alliance victory with a new event high score of 305. Very impressive scores from both sides, though, that I want to comment on. That's going to move 72-45 up to be ranked 5th overall. In 3, 2, 1, go. Every single robot immediately jumping right into action, with 11-72-3 getting a taxi, and every other robot either scoring specimen on their upper rung or moving to score into the upper bucket. 4410 is rapidly working to keep pace and even exceed the cycle speed of 22-489, doing so successfully here.
Pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Jumping straight into teleop, Red has a strong lead here, starting with 150 points, something the Blue Alliance will be working to catch up with, but now that 11-7-2-3 is back in action, can they do it? Let's find out. 4410 placing as many samples as they can from the center into the upper bucket as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, Red Alliance spots both working to place into their bucket and pass off to the human player. Red Alliance still in the lead and slowly working with strategy, stacking up more and more specimens so that they can now quickly score them as quickly as possible, something we're going to see 23-286 start trying to do here. With about a 40-point difference, the Red Alliance is definitely still in the lead, but 11-7-2-3 is not letting that get the best of them as they continue trying to score as quickly as they can. .4410 attempting, but seemingly having some technical difficulty scoring in their upper bucket, knocking out a piece that they accidentally placed inside the interior of the robot. .489 continuing to score as quickly as they can in their bucket, as now looks like all 4 robots are going to be attempting to climb. 2 of them make it to the top, and the others the lower rung. Very, very impressive stuff. And with 4 robots climbing. Scores for qualification number 20 over here on field number 2. It'll be none other than a Red Alliance victory. With very impressive scores on both sides, it looks like the Red Alliance simply had advantage in the teleop. 2, 1, go. Every single robot immediately jumping into action, with both red and blue scoring into their upper buckets as well as into their upper rung, passing off to their human players with an attempt to quickly get as many specimens as they can. This really will be a race between several great robots here. Looks like Red Alliance, though, is doing just slightly better on the specimen count.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Red Alliance boasting one extra in the upper rung and in the bucket. That's going to move them forwards into this teleoperated period now by about 50 points, as every single robot is in a mad dash to get as many points as quickly as possible. Tech Tigers attempting to score into their bucket area. Meanwhile, 18438 is passing off to the human player, who's slowly collecting more and more specimen to be scored later. 23 to 86 continues collecting more and more pieces and scoring it into their upper bucket. And with that, we have 1 minute left in this match with the Red Lions just under the 200-point marker. And they officially pass it with the scoring of one more specimen. But they continue racing forwards with more and more coming from the human player as time is passing. Certainly a lot of action from all these teams. A very interesting match as both teams continue to fill up their buckets, getting really close to the top, and Blue now passing with 20 seconds left, the 200-point marker. We're going to see Tech Tigers attempting to climb and doing so successfully, now moving up to the upper rung and successfully doing so. Meanwhile, 23-86 is climbing on the lower. 30 coming up on the screen now. A Red Alliance victory with a new event high score of 357. That's going to move both Red Alliance teams up to the top 10 ranked positions.
Let's get this match started in 3, 2, 1, go! We are off. Laser scoring in the high bucket. Windward not quite scoring the high bucket. Looks like their auto positioning was just a little bit off. They're going to try and go for another sample. Oh, 2 specimens attempted clip there from Ghost. I'm guessing that that'll be a double possession penalty. Laser successfully scoring in the bucket.
Drivers, pick up your
And
controllers.
heading into teleop, that is going to be a
3,
slight lead for the Blue Alliance.
1.
With no clips on Blue's high chamber. Laser immediately going for that high bucket. Successfully unjamming that stuck specimen from their robot, re-intaking it, and very cleanly scoring it. Ghost trying to get their manipulator into the correct position. Windward scoring into that high bucket over and over again. Meanwhile, 18153 has started getting Blue some specimens on that upper chamber. Oh, not quite clipping that second one, but coming very close. Ghost trying to aim that end effector correctly. Windward accidentally launching a sample. Oh, Ghost attempting the forbidden 4th level climb. Laser Robotics continues to just rack up points in that high bucket. They've gotten themselves a sizable lead with about twice the number of samples in the high bucket as the Red Alliance. Heading into endgame, we're just continuing same as always. Windward is going to see if they can try and score on top of Ghost. They successfully push Ghost down from where they were. Ghost reinitializes their robot, successfully regains control of it to allow Windward to score one more in the bucket as Laser and 18153 both go for climbs, and that's the match. That is a win for the Blue Alliance with a score of 241 to 97. And now,
Congratulations to Arc Lightning. Next up for our 4th seed, which team would you like to invite to join your alliance?
For 256, Arc Sandstorm would like to graciously invite team 23286 Laser.
Laser Robotics from Newton Center, Massachusetts.
Team 23286, the Laser Robotics graciously accepts.
And we are off in our first playoff match of the championship. Techno and Laser going for that high bin. Meanwhile, Arc Sandstorm is doing those specimen clips onto the high chamber. Cosmic Loop also going for specimen clips. Sandstorm and Cosmic Loop matching each other, almost specimen for specimen. Laser and Techno matching each other almost sample for sample, but it looks like Techno
Drivers, pick up
maybe
your
misses a
controllers.
sample at the last moment.
3, 2,
Oh, not quite.
1.
Scores are pretty much tied going into teleop. This match is going to be decided in the teleop. Laser is sticking with high net for now. Oh, and there is a bit of chain on the field. Looks like there was a double possession called on one of the robots there. Technomaniacs looking to still be functional, but there's a very suspicious bit of chain, and I'm worried that something on their robot is non-functional. We'll see how this is going. 23248 now scoring in that high bin. Techno now appears to be going, oh, throws a specimen up. Their human player getting those specimens ready. Meanwhile, Cosmic Loop continues to just go for that bin. We are still at 54 seconds left, within 30 points of the scores of the two teams, but Arc Sandstorm has an absurd amount of specimens lined up and ready to score. And if they can get all of these, it is going to give them a pretty sizable lead over the Blue Alliance. And they are doing a pretty solid job of it. Oh, they accidentally throw one of their specimens. But still, it looks like Red Alliance has mostly succeeded in just barely outcycling the scores that Blue Alliance is putting up. With 13 seconds on the clock, no climbs even yet, we are already at a score above 300. Techno parking Arc, and that is the match. That was a victory for the Red Alliance with a score of 375 to 267, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a new Massachusetts state record. Go! And we are off. All four robots moving. We have Wolfpack and Laser doing those high bins, Sandstorm, and Organized Anarchy working on those specimens. And fast clipping here from all of the human players. Again, matching each other almost clip for clip. Looks like Red has a slight points advantage here. But that is a almost tied score, 77 to 70, heading into teleop.
2, 1.
Wolfpack still going for that high bin. Based on last match, I'm expecting that this is about what we'll see from all the teams again. Sandstorm doing specimens Laser and Wolfpack doing bin. And Organized Anarchy continuing on those specimens. Wolfpack and Laser extremely competitive, extremely closely matched teams, up to and including a really similar overall robot design. However, looking at the number of clips that each of these teams have in store, this may come down to Arc Sandstorm's ability to slightly out-specimen Organized Anarchy. But this is if Sandstorm can get all of those clips done, because Red Alliance is still in the lead on those clips. Wolfpack going to re-intake a block that didn't quite settle right in their transfer. With 47 seconds left on the clock, the scores are still neck and neck. Wolfpack and Laser going to fight for the same block there in the submersible zone. We are getting to shockingly few samples left on the field. Heading into endgame, Blue is in the lead. It looks like partially because Blue has caught up in their clips. Oh, and Wolfpack knocks a sample out of their bin. Laser is going for a climb. Wolfpack and Organized Anarchy both also going for a climb, and that's the match. All right, let's see the results of that match. That was a victory for the Blue Alliance with a score of 337 to 265. Go! All of our robots are off. These are some of the highest scoring robots we have seen at this event. Laser Robotics getting samples into the high bin. Tech Tigers matching them sample for sample. Arc Sandstorm and GNCE Diamond also matching pretty much sample for sample. This is going to be a very close match.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Those extra specimens are going to help Blue out a bit going into teleop with a 166 to 104 lead. But it is still totally doable for Red to make up that lead, especially because, as we have seen, Arc Sandstorm is one of the best teams out there at just stacking specimens on the chamber near the very end of the game. We've got a lot of battling for samples inside that submersible zone between Laser and Tech Tigers. These are two very high-scoring teams, very complex robots that are very, very professionally built. And this is going to be a very toughly fought match by both teams. Looks like Blue Alliance going for intaking samples back from their human player. Looks like they're, whoa, and Laser throwing a red out from their robot. Laser going once again for that red. Sandstorm really doing their best to make up that points deficit by just stacking specimen after specimen on the high chamber. The score is closing very quickly. It is perfectly tied with 14 seconds left in the match. Tech Tigers goes for a third level climb. Laser goes for what looks like a level 2 climb. GNCE is going to be attempting, I think, a level 2 climb. And Sandstorm Parks, 248 to 246 is the final score shown here. I think the refs are going to be talking about this one for a little while, and we're going to see exactly how this ends up in. And that is a Blue Alliance victory, 279 to 264. Very, very high scoring match. Very, very close match. 3, 2, 1, go! We are off. All 4 robots moving on the field. Laser, oh no, getting a yellow sample stuck in their robot. Looks like they have stopped their auto to avoid taking any more penalties. I believe that stopping your auto is a penalty, but it's worth it when it saves you from getting more. Once again,
Driver,
Sandstorm
pick up your
and
controllers.
Organized Anarchy matching each other.
3, 2, 1.
And we're off into teleop. First thing that Laser's going to want to do is get those unstuck from their robot, which they do quite quickly. But was it quickly enough? Only about a 40-point delta separates these two extremely competitive alliances going into this teleop. Wolfpack going to provide GNCE with some samples to clip. Going to find a better angle once again in an intake battle with Laser. There's now about a 30-point lead for the Blue Alliance. But both of these teams are racking up points at nearly equal speeds. Remember, Sandstorm's strategy is to just bank all of their clips and then put all of them on at once, so we could see a very fast swing in the match scores, exactly like we're seeing right now. Blue Alliance very quickly, very deftly trying to widen the gap, but Sandstorm is closing the gap very quickly on them. While Wolfpack and Laser go neck and neck for that high bin going in endgame. I do see a Go Build a Sonic Hub on the field. Something interesting has happened to one of these robots. Red Alliance has now taken the lead in the final 17 seconds of the game. Laser now going for a climb. Organized Anarchy going for what looks like a climb. Wolfpack scoring one final before going for a climb with 1 second on the clock. Looks like Wolfpack and Organized Anarchy both get climbs. Very, very close match. And that is a Blue Alliance victory, 280 to 277.
The next award is the Think Award. The Think Award is given to the team that the judges feel best reflects the journey of the engineering design process. The engineering portfolio is the key reference for judges to help them identify the most deserving team. This team's engineering portfolio focuses on the design and build stages of the team's robot and exemplifies their journey as a team and engineers. The second place winner is none other than 23286 Laser Robotics from Newton Center, Massachusetts.